Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to another battle in Total War Attila. This is a 3 vs 3, and it was on Ultra Funds, so each player had about 15,000 in money to spend on their army comp. On one side, we've got 3 Roman armies, and on the other side, we've actually got 3 Germanic armies, so it'll be an interesting and fun battle. We've also got a really cool map here. We've got kind of a swampland with a bit of forest on the one side, so we'll see kind of some open plain fighting, some fighting in the river, and some fighting in the forest as well. Yeah, so without further ado, let's take a look at the army comps. The first army we're going to take a look at is the Roman Expeditionary Force commanded by Max Laser, and he's brought a pretty solid army, and I'm really happy to see that he brought the Roman Expedition. They don't really get played that often, so it's nice to have kind of a little bit of color in the army comps. So right in front, who we were zoomed in on, he's got 4 units of these Ente Signani, and they're gold chevroned upgrades, so hopefully they'll be able to be a good frontline force. And then he has 2 units of Fundadores, which is a Tier 1 Slinger. And then in the center, he has 2 units of Elite Ballistariae. And then he has 6 units of these Bucellarii Guard Axemen. And so they've got kind of a one-handed axe with shield. And they are Tier 3, so hopefully they'll be able to do some good damage. And then right in behind, he has 3 units of Bucellarii, so this is probably the counterpart, but on horseback, and it'd be interesting to see if they take out axes to fight. That would kind of be really cool. But it looks like they have a bow, so they probably have a missile weapon, and then they've got their lances as well for charging in. But they are medium shock cav. And then he's got 2 units of Clibinari, which is a nice shock cavalry as well. And for his general, he's got his Bucellarii Guard Cavalry. And I don't know exactly which one would be the general. They kind of all... Actually, it would probably be this guy right here, because he's got a different cuirass than everyone else. He's just got the basic chainmail. But yeah, so that's it for Max Laser's army, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. The next army that's deployed right to the right-hand side of Max Laser is the Eastern Roman Empire, commanded by myself. And my army is pretty generic, I would say. I don't have too much color to it, just in the fact that I bring usually the same type of unit. So I've got 4 units of these Elite Ballistariae, and then I have 3 units of these Metalatoi, a really nice pike unit, Tier 3. And then I have 4 units of Hatariae Guard. These double-handed axes always perform well if you use them correctly and keep them away from enemy missile. And then just on the other side, here's some more Hatariae Guard hiding in the trees. But then I have 3 units of these Eastern Armored Legio, so just a Tier 2 infantry. I'm going to use them more to the side of the river over here to maybe get some flanking and also hold the cavalry at this river opening. And then for my general, I've got a Master Militum, and that would probably be him there, always flashy in the golden scaled cuirass there. And then for my cavalry, I have 5 units of Clibinari, and I really like the Clibinari because they have the scare tactic. So right before you get that insane charge bonus, you can see that they're 242. You could pop that scare tactic to lower their morale, and it really seems to do well on breaking key units very quickly. So that's it for my force, so let's go ahead and take a look at the last ally. The final army on our side, who's deployed to the right of myself and is kind of extending into the forest, is the Western Roman Empire, commanded by Captain Insano. And he's got a really solid cavalry force. He's actually brought 5 units of Cataphractory, which I think is the best shock cav that Western Rome can bring. And he's also bringing a Master Militum as well for his general. And then he has 5 units of Herculeani Signores, which is the best Western Roman Empire infantry. And then he's only got 2 units of Elite Ballistariae, so really going heavily on the cav and the infantry, not much of an archer presence. And then lastly, he's got 6 units of these Armigieri Defensores, And then way on the flanks, he's got 1 unit of Elite Palatina on that side, and he has 1 unit of Elite Palatina on that side. So that's pretty much all of our armies, so let's go ahead and take a look at the enemies. The first army we're going to take a look at on the enemy side is the Ostrogoths, commanded by Egg Slop on Top M2TW. That's a long name to pronounce. But he's going with the Ostrogoths, and he is bringing a very powerfully infantry-focused army. He's only got 2 units of Germanic crossbows in the front, and then he has, let me just triple count here, 6, 8, 10 units of Thracian Oathsworn. So that is going to be a really tough challenge for Max Laser, who is his opponent. He's going to have to really try to focus down these Oathsworn, or maybe they'll just be used improperly. We'll have to find out what happens. But then there's 2 units of Germanic Spearmasters, no doubt to kind of protect his flanks from enemy cavalry. And then he's got his Royal Seones as his general. And I would imagine... Yes, I think that's him, because he's the only one with the blue shield. So that would be the Gothic general there. It's a tier 3 cavalry, but then he's brought 5 units of noble Germanic horsemen, so he's brought melee cavs. So we'll see how that stacks up against Max Laser's shock cavalry. But that's it for the Ostrogoths, so let's take a look at the next enemy. The next enemy army we're going to take a look at is the Saxons, one of my favorite Germanic factions, and this is commanded by Wolf of the Isle. And he is facing opposite myself, so this is the army that I'm going to have to take on. And he's got a really well-balanced roster, I would say. He's got 4 units of Nordic bows, but they're triple chevron upgrades, so that's going to give them better melee attack, better melee damage. It should also increase... no, it does not increase their speed. Gives them more morale, though. So he does have some bonuses on his archers. And then he has 5 units of Nordic Spearmasters, sorry. And then 5 units of Chosen Warriors. I love these shields. They look really, really cool. So he has 5 units of them. And then he's bringing 5 units of Heroic Cavalry. So he's also bringing melee cav. So they're going to have to go up against my shock cavalry. They do have some high health, which is good, and they do have excellent attack against cavalry, but their charge bonus is 55, so I think that's where mine will have the edge against his, but who knows, in prolonged melee, you never know what can happen. And then his general over here is the Chieftain with Gedrick, and I believe that's him right there. So that is it for the Saxons. Let's go ahead and take a look at, finally, the last army for the enemies, and then we'll get the battle started. The final army we have to take a look at is the Franks, commanded by Hamdog CDXX, and he is also deployed more towards the forest to take on Captain Insano. And he's got his multi-layer tiered defense. As you can see, if you guys are a long-time subscriber to my channel, you know that he kind of loves to... tier his forces like this. I think that's a good plan because you can't really see enemies in the forest until they're almost right on top of you, and this way he is able to kind of deploy troops to whatever flank he deems necessary. But yeah, he's got 4 units of elite Germanic archers in the front line, and then he has 6 units, 3 in one tier and then 3 in a second tier. He's got 6 units total of these Royal Instrucciones, or Instructions. I don't know, because it's a French unit, it's not a Spanish, so I don't know how that ending would typically sound. But then he's got 2 units of Germanic pikes, and then he's got his Germanic nobles, which is just a generic general. But then he's brought 6 units of Sacra Francisca. This is a nice unit to bring as the Franks. I think it's a really solid cavalry unit. They're tier 3, heavy shock cav, and they are also gold chevron upgrades. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do in the battle. But yeah, that's all of the army comps now, guys, so let's go ahead to the battle.
Everyone fights!
Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and as you can see, we've already got most of Max Laser's army pushing up to meet his enemy. I am holding the line as well by pushing up my forces, because I want to make sure that we're kind of on the same page as far as how far we move up. And Captain Insano, he is also slowly moving up, but smartly, he's got 2 of his units up here that he's kind of just scouting the trees with. He basically just wants to see if there's any, you know, hidden opposition that might surprise him. So that's good that he's combing the forest, looking for any enemy combatants there. Max Laser is continually pushing up a little further than that than my army, so I need to move up to meet that line as well. But yeah, our forces are in a pretty solid position, I would say. Looking at the enemies, Hamdog has moved up his army just to match his ally across the river, which I think is a smart idea. And he's also getting a couple of units of his cavalry to the open plains, which again is smart, because the cavalry's not gonna. I don't think they'll have as good of a charge bonus in the forest, and I don't know where the red line is now. They can use this open field over here for cavalry, but I think that's what's probably going to end up happening, because the forest is mostly going to be where the heavy melee fighting is going down. And now we've got that really solid line of Thracian Oathsworn that stretched themselves almost to the other side of the battlefield. So it looks like Max Laser is going to mirror that move. He's also got his 4 units of Ente Signani. Wonder what that means. Does anybody speak Latin? Ente Signani. It sounds like an anti-something. So whatever Signani is. But yeah, I've got most of my cav over here towards Max's flank because since I'm in the middle and I'm bordered here by a river, I don't really have a solid opportunity to really use my cavalry yet. So I'm just waiting to see what happens with all of these Oathsworn over here. But Max Laser, it looks like he's extending his Bucellary Guard Axemen right to the red line. And that way it will keep all of these noble Germanic horsemen from flanking around. But I'm pushing forwards my crossbows to try to get in range of these Saxon, or these Nordic bows here. And over on this side, I'm not sure what we've got going on. Actually, it looks like not really any military presence whatsoever. Well, there is military presence, but I'm thinking as far as anti-cav units, really getting a good charge on those Frankish archers there. But here comes the cav to kind of lock them into battle, which is excellent. So the battle is already underway over on that side. And over here, it looks like it's going to kick off as well. We've got the General's Bodyguard for the Ostrogoths coming over here for my crossbows. But luckily, I had my pikemen right in the way to kind of guard their retreat. And I don't think that the Ostrogothic player realized this. And he charged his general headlong onto pikemen. And there you go. You see my Hetarier Guard using their ranged axe weapon to kind of throw into the General's Bodyguard as well. So that is not a good sight to see if you are rooting for the Ostrogoths. He's going to quickly have to get his general out there. And I think he does survive to get out of this melee scrap. And I actually am getting a decent amount of friendly fire with my Hetarier Guard. But yeah, look at that General's Bodyguard really taking a beating over there. He's bringing up some Germanic Spearmasters to try and guard his retreat. But I think he eventually does break very quickly. Over here, I've got my Hetarier Guard going up against some of the Thracian Oathsworn. These are both two-handed axes. Well, the Oathsworn have swords. So it'll be interesting to see who actually comes out on top in that battle. But yeah, we just got full-on fighting just about everywhere. I'm going to leave it on slow motion for a little while as we've got a lot to cover here, and it's only like a 7-minute battle. These Attila battles go by so quickly. But yeah, the Oathsworn are just doing a number on these Antig-Signani. Looks like we got the Bucellary Guard Axemen coming in to reinforce. But a lot of the noble Germanic horsemen, the melee cavalry, are kind of caught up in melee, and that leaves Max Laser kind of the opportunity to get in and around some of the infantry of the Ostrogoths. Let's go ahead and take a look over here. It's still pretty calm, I would say. Not much is going on in the way of battle as far as in the forest. But we can go ahead and put this on play, because it looks like we got a lot of chosen warriors coming down, bearing down on my pikemen. I did notice my crossbows needed to be pulled out of here just at the last minute, but we got a brutal melee charge there, and for some reason A little bit of a stutter there. I thought that the game was going to crash for a minute. But yeah, there we go. The Chosen Warriors have pushed into melee. Let's put this on slow motion again and see what's going on over here. So it looks like Hamdog has deployed most of his cavalry in the trees, and he's got his other units over to the plain area. But nothing interesting going on as of yet. I found an opportunity to push forwards my cavalry. There was this massive space where there was not really any resistance whatsoever. I'm going to go after the Ostrogothic general with one of my units of cavalry, and with the other units here, these poor Nordic bows are just going to feel the might of this cavalry charge. He does have his spearmasters that he's trying to get into defend them. But this is a lot of cav that they have to contend with. Same over here, going after that other unit of Nordic bows that is trying to escape. The general over here is wavering, but that's to be expected because he lost like almost 4/5 of his unit just on those pikemen. And here we go. We've got, what's over here? Five Ostrogothic Oathsworn are still fighting in melee. They just will not break. They will perish to the last man. There we go. But my elite Hatarier Guard really just finishing them off. I think that's the last Oathsworn unit there. And there he goes, cut down from behind. So now that's opened up even more of a front here for us to get units in and across. There is a unit of noble Germanic horsemen here, but I'm pretty much just ignoring them. I'm not really worried about them at this point. I just want to go after these scattered units that don't have any semblance or any reinforcements. See over here as well, we've got 1 unit of Thracian Oathsworn and 23 units. So Max Laser doing really well against the Oathsworn. Over here we've got a charge from Sacra Francisca. So Hamdog CDXX is actually supporting many different fronts with his cavalry, trying to give his allies the edge. But let's zoom on over here. It looks actually like we're just in time to see some charges. Got a unit of heroic cavalry pushing in. Now their charge bonus isn't going to be as good because they are melee cavs, so that unit was able to absorb most of the blow. I think kind of the same with my unit as well. They weren't even in shield wall, I don't think. We're still trying to form Testudo, but I did manage to slow them down and protect my crossbows, at least for now. But let's go ahead and put this on to play again. And my Atarier Guard are coming to help. My pikemen have pretty much been destroyed at this point. Oh, we got some random cavalry charging, well, horses without a master, I should say, charging through. But yeah, we have just pretty much wiped out the Ostrogoths. Max Laser still has most of his force left, so we did really, really well there. My units that were taking on the Ostrogoths, you can see that they're pretty banged up. But I am actually still harassing the Saxons with my cavalry over here. I probably am going to lose my Clibinari, but I'd rather tie up what's left of the Saxon infantry so that they do not support this front over here. Now, Hamdog, he's actually noticed a bit of an opening in our line, so he's going to get 2 units of Sacra Francisca right past the Western Roman Empire forces, and now he's going to come over for my archers. So yeah, we probably got a pretty gruesome charge coming up over here. Oh yeah, barely even slowing down as they run through that entire unit. I don't know if any of them are going to get up. I hope that they do, but thankfully they haven't broken yet. They're just wavering, and I'm able to focus them down with this unit of Elite Ballistariae here. If we put that on slow motion, yeah, you can see. I wonder what their missile block is. It doesn't actually say on here, interestingly. But they've chosen to actually go in against my pikemen, which is a valid strategy. But yeah, good call. He's actually going to go for the crossbows. The crossbows are much more deadly to to cavalry at this point than pikemen that are already tied up in melee. And yeah, I pretty much won over on this flank, so I'm quickly bringing my Hetarie Guard over here to stop the advance of this these Sacra Francisca. I might as well, like, almost leave it in slow motion until the end of the battle. But we need to focus over here. We haven't seen much of Captain Insano's fight. So he's got his Herculeane Signore fighting against the Royal Instruzione. It's probably so cheesy, my pronunciation, but I give it a try at least. I don't just shirk it. But we've got the pikes kind of pushing on certain flanks, but unfortunately it looks for Hamdog that the Frankish infantry just cannot hold up to the Roman infantry. You can see them starting to get beaten back there. How are we looking over here? It looks like it's just kind of pockets of fighting everywhere. This unit of Frankish infantry looks like it's doing a little bit better, though, than in other areas of the battle. Oh, that guy lost his head. Oh, but it looks like they've broken. That's too bad. So what do we got left? I think it's mostly Hamdog's force. It's pretty even, I would say, over here against Captain Insano. Actually, more swinging towards Hamdog's favor only because he has cavalry left to harass the rear lines. But I think he's just stretched too thin to try to save his allies, really expending some of his elite cavalry over on the other side to aid the Ostrogoths, and that kind of put him behind a little bit, I think. I am pushing forwards my Hetarie Guard over to help on this flank, but it looks like the Herculeane Signores are going to pull through, and even this elite Balistarie breaking this unit of Sacra Francisca. And yes, I think the general dead, that would be... I think that's Hamdog's general, but I don't know exactly where he is at the moment. But yeah, he's quickly trying to move his Royal Franks away from my Hetarie Guard. But my general is coming across, the Master Militum. He hasn't seen melee yet, so he wants to get in on the action. But I charged headlong with my Clibinari into this chieftain with Gedrick, and they are still fighting. This general's unit is so solid. Starting to even cut down my cavalry as well. I thought about pulling them out and going in for another charge, but, you know, at this point, why not?
Our ambush troops have been detected.
So, yeah, they are still fighting on. Looks like we've got some cycle charges coming in from the Bucellarii. But, yeah, that's basically it. So it is a victory for the Roman alliance. We still have about a third of our force. But meanwhile, this Saxon general refuses to admit defeat. It was really awesome. They just fought to the bitter end. More cycle charges from the Roman expeditionary forces. I thought about dismounting my cavalry too, but we're not gonna stand on the same ground as these pagans. We'll kill them from above. Yet another cycle charge coming in. Oh, nice. Nice kill there. Oh, getting knocked over by the horse there. And I think that's about it. So yes, a victory for the Romans. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results. So, looking at my force first, I lost about half my army, as did Captain Insano, but Max Laser, yeah, he still has about 2/3 of his force. So for mine, my pikemen didn't do too bad. My Master Militum getting 43 kills, even though he only went in at the end. And he's got Eastern Armored Legio did well. My Hetarie Guard, each getting almost over 200 kills. They're so solid. And my crossbow's not doing too bad, and my cav not doing too bad. Looking at the Western Roman Empire, his front line held pretty decently, I would say, but the Herculeani Signores are really kind of what drove it home. Even though they didn't get many kills, they just managed to hold a lot longer than the Defensores. And his cavalry, this one getting 211 kills, that's really solid. And this is Elite Palatina even, which is a pretty cheap unit, 233. And then Max Laser's force, really high kills with his Bucellarii, his Clibinari pretty solid. But yeah, these Guard Axemen did really, really well. His crossbows did well. Looking at Wolf of the Isle, his spears did pretty good, and his chosen warriors did pretty good. His archers not so much, though, because I was able to focus them down early. And his cavalry, this one 100 kills, which isn't bad, but the rest are pretty low. Like I usually say, I really just never bring melee cav. I don't really find that they're worth it. And then these Oathsworn, yeah, not as high of kills as you would like to see, for especially how expensive they are. And this cavalry also low kills. This one not bad, though, 111. And finally, Hemdog's Force. These pikes didn't get any kills, but that's pretty much to be expected. They're really, really cheap. But his Royal Anstrations did solid. His archers didn't get any kills, though, which is kind of sad. These are expensive archers. But his Sacred Francisca, some doing not good, but some doing well. 167 and 219. That is really good there. So hopefully you enjoyed this battle. I know it's quicker usually than Medieval Kingdoms battles, but it's nice to add a little bit of color into my channel. And I still really like this Attila time period as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And I will see you in the next one.